Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 4 vs 4 on rocks, and I'm going to be playing with the new 71st Reserve Tank Division. This division, I think I really like this division a bit more than the VTK-42. It's really good fun, and this game really showed off like all of the different units. It wasn't necessarily the greatest game of all time, but it certainly allowed me to show off how a lot of stuff works. So let's have a quick look at the units we got going down. We got the Rozvedka leading the charge. We got the Pyramida, which is one of the new jammer units in the game. It has this big old antenna and this interesting piece of equipment on the front there. Makes this big red circle. Anything inside the circle cannot be targeted by corrected shot, and also it gets rid of GSR activation on recon infantry, enemy recon infantry. We got the Malukas. Those are very abundant in this deck. You got like 8 on a card, and you're able to just spread them out. So that's what I plan to do in this particular game. They're only 50 points. They get a 17 penetration HGM, which is pretty strong. Then I've also got a couple of these ZIL 135M S60s, which are the big S60 gun on the back of this big truck. A very cool piece of equipment, and it's going to come in handy, as you can see our opponent here has opted to bring in lots and lots and lots of helicopters. So I'm going to be moving these into the trees, and they're going to be starting to blast away in the hopes to at least shoot down a couple of these before the HGMs get a bit too much. MiG-29 coming in there does end up getting shot down. My S60 trying to do its best. I'm going to try and back up to get away from some of those HGMs, as they are semi-active, so I need to maintain line of sight, but I couldn't quite get out of the way in time. So we did end up losing both my AA units, and it's pretty scary. Now, if he kept going at this point, this strategy probably would have worked quite well, because all of these Gazelle Hot 2s would be able to deal with the tanks. The pirates, they have the autocannon on the sides. They're able to deal with like infantry and autocannons or APCs and so on. So yeah, there was quite a scary blob here, and if it just kept going, it would have really ruined our opener. But on the way, I do have 4 more of these trucks, which it's great, because not normally you're going to see like much of a showcase of these, but with all the helicopters inbound, it certainly gave me the opportunity, so that's nice. My poor Pyramida gets taken out by all of the VLRA 20s, but Grimgeist brought over his own S60, and that's going to take out the Celtic on the way out, so really, really nice. Always cool to hear and see those cannons in action. So what I did here, you'll notice I parked like most of these behind buildings as best as I could to stop those HGMs from being as much of a problem. M48 here said no to one of my trucks. It just popped me. It's kind of hidden back here with its Recon National Guard M48 from ND, causing me some problems on my road here. Also the AML 60s and such in the tree lines having a go, but I at least managed to get them over to the left hand side, so this side's not going to be completely exposed to the next time those helicopters come in. It's like, if he just committed with the helicopters, I said already, it would have done a lot of damage. Anyway, Nua coming in with the 2 missiles there, just to help deal with enemy aircraft. Malukas getting into good positions to get nice crossfire going. T-55's looking to engage the M48 with the Instructor nearby. We are providing the extra veterancy and taking away the reservist trait. They saw my Su-24 come in for the rocket strike. Those things have the big rockets, and I wanted to see how much damage they could do to tanks. So I did go in for that M48. Unfortunately, I only did half health damage with, I think it was like 5 of its 6 rockets, so not ideal. Those rockets generally best served as use against like light ground targets and infantry, basically. But so far so good. Instructor following up these T-55s, working quite well in tandem. And it's exactly what you got to do with both this deck and also the VTK deck that's new. You got to make use of the Instructors and their trait in order to buff the other units around you. Because on their own, like the D55 with the Reservist trait, yeah, it's not going to be too great, but if you can remove the Reservist trait, then you get fantastic value for money out of the unit. And you get like good availability from the Reservist units as well, so you get like 10 T55s per card for 80 points apiece, and then you're taking away their Reservist trait plus giving them extra veterancy. It's just like such a good bonus if you really do stack it and grind into the enemy. You can really get fantastic value for money. Now, each of these M48 are also only 80 points. So pretty much trading 1-for-1 against those is what we're expected to do. Light rifles here on my flank, causing a little bit of a problem. EMP3 from Taki. I'm going to be helping out quite a lot there with its autocannon. T-72 is going to have to pull back. So Zvedka moving up on the left-hand side. I actually get pretty deep with this, but we end up bumping into some enemy scouts. So they're going to spot my Zvedka, and the M1A1's going to finish that off. So we got our solid AA, the Nuwa. This one actually out of ammo at the moment. I got the BTS-4A in here as well, you might notice. This is the tank with the ZU-23-2 on top. So that's really cool as well. It's just some really interesting units. I love these trucks with the S60s on the back. We saw the Recon Pyramida. You know, we've got all these like tanks that work in tandem. Then you've also got the infantry. Like I've got the reservists, but then you can get the Instructori, and in my deck I have them with the BMP2. So you can get like good value out of your reserve infantry as well. And the Reservisti with the BMPs can even be brought in with 25-point BMPs. Now, unfortunately, there's no Instructor that can take away the reserve trait of the BMP otherwise, so that would be even more crazy in this particular deck. But BRM on the way to provide some exceptional optics. And you'll notice on this map, I'm trying to bring in stuff on this left side road so that it doesn't have to cross this bridge. Because if you bring it like straight to the middle, it will drive up this road, and then it will take a left and cross this bridge, which, unless you've got these tree lines secured, is really bad. So instead, I'm purposefully making sure everything comes in on this left road, going straight into the back there. Because what we're going to want to do is, in order to capture this sector, we need to push out this tree line. This tree line here is always, this little patch of trees, always the most important part of this map when it comes to contesting this sector. Because that's where the majority of people place it early on, because that's where the sort of roads go for the majority of the units. Now you can have a leader all the way far back here, but that's like a secondary objective. Meanwhile, we can just watch all of the helicopters fall out the sky as he finally makes a play, but it's already too late because he's kind of shown his hand, and my AA tank here is really firing alongside Taki's Strela 10Ms and all that other good stuff. So yeah, the helicopters just get absolutely rinsed. But early on, you know, if he'd just taken out both of my AA trucks, then he would have had a field day on that side, but kind of didn't commit, and alas, paid for it. I did have like multiple Strelas on the way. Unfortunately, these are going to be kind of useless at this point because obviously our enemies used up the majority of their helicopters now. But I can still use them and spread them around for dealing with enemy aircraft that might potentially fly overhead. Now you notice that the Malutkas here, they've been sat here the whole time. They've been using a lot of ammo. Like these guys have already used 10 HGMs, these have used 6 HGMs, and just really good value for money for controlling open ground those are. Never sleep on the really cheap HGM vehicles. That's why people love like BMP1s in this game, because whilst the BMP1 on its own is like not that great and like direct confrontation, it does come with an HGM sometimes, and that HGM is just really useful for keeping people at arm's length. The other thing with the Malutka, in this case the BRDM Malutka, is it does have good stealth, so they kind of struggle to see them until they fire, which is another really nice thing. The Instructor have arrived on the left, and I'm going to be bringing up some infantry to join those. We've got the Reservisti on the way. I've got the 82mm mortars coming in. The mortars are coming in so that I can provide smoke and then eventually make the push that I want to make onto this area. Also bringing up a bunch of HDGams just to spread those about in case there's any counter push coming from tanks. Because at the end of the day, we're like still, you know, fighting two people over here. Yes, like one of the players is not doing particularly great, but still got to respect it. P72B. I've got the Instructor pushing over to the left-hand side to support Grim Guy's push into the middle sector here. HGems are arriving. Reservisti here. We have the Instructor with them, just keeping the Instructor further back. You've got to really make sure when you're using these Instructors that you don't let the Instructor die first. Make sure that your opponent is engaging your main forces before they, you know, before you engage with your Instructor, because otherwise you can have a real bad time. Alright, here goes the Sphere from the T-72. Looking to knock on the M1A1s here at range. Because we don't have the gun range to engage the M1A1, but the M1A1 there, you can see I only did 1 damage to my 20 front armor on this T-72, so really nice. Gonna hit it again. Plus the Su-24 from Grim going for the M1A1 Abrams on the backside. Grim's also playing the same deck as I am, so we're gonna see some of his units that are similar to mine. This one, bam, straight into the side armor. Beautiful kill. Also Mirage 5 went down thanks to the long-range AA. So now with all of those M1A1s in a bad spot and low on cohesion, I'm going to put the pressure on by just diving forwards with the T-72. Did manage to take out one of the M1A1 Abrams already. Looking to take out a second as it pulls back. Making sure the Instructors show what they're made of. There it is. Beautiful kills. 3 M1A1s taken out. That is big losses for Eagle there, who is now outnumbered massively. So just going to be waiting for the reserve to arrive. You see that the mortars are ready to go. They've arrived with their cool little trucks. Another one over here. Oh, that's the HGM. Yeah, I love those little UAZ 452s. They're really fun. So there's the reserves, they're on the way. T-72 is still just like moving now to the left-hand side, looking to engage these other M1A1s and get some shots on target. A-10's on the right, really not used too well. End up both going down. Got a bunch of tanks out here if I need them. Yeah, just obviously focusing on this attack for the time being. Getting the Instructor into a good position, ready to deal or use next to the new Reservisti. Unfortunately for me, because I had it on a move order and not an attack move order, the M1A1 actually landed a shot on the move there and killed my T-72 with a side shot, so a bit unfortunate. The Bradley might have been able to kill me in the rear with a tow missile anyway, so I wasn't too concerned about it. I don't think I was really paying much attention, to be honest, during the game to that tank, as I was, again, focusing on setting up this push. Reservisti getting in here with the Instructor, really important. You'll notice that I stopped the Instructor because I obviously don't want him to go first. If the Instructor moves in and just dies, like, what's the point of having him there in the first place? So I wait for the reserves to catch up. Meanwhile, HGem does get a kill onto the M48, so I'm happy about that. Now the autocannons, the RPGs can go to work on the remaining tanks there. Before more reserves arriving under the cover of smoke, and we're gonna take that sector. We'll take that tree line. The leader is forced to run away, so mission success. Those Humvee tows not going to be able to do much, but here comes a bombing strike from the A7D Corsair. 4 reserves get blown sky high, but the Corsair at least does go down. I gotta get those instructors out. Got some like backup instructors here just in case. So they're gonna be moving in to support the remainder of the reserves. There's my little push coming in on this side as well. The two T-55s, the T-72. Yeah, this game, as I said, not the most like crazy game that I've ever played, but certainly one that showed off pretty much every unit that this division has to offer, other than maybe the aircraft. The Su-24s can be certainly very useful. Particularly the siege ones, we saw those attacking me and dealing a lot of damage when I was playing as VTK-42. But otherwise, like just the combinations of the infantry, so Instructor with the reserves, and then you've got like the tanks with the like the Instructor tank with the reserve tanks. It's basically the way that these divisions were designed to play, and it is really fun and satisfying to get good value out of cheaper units because you're buffing them up with this Instructor trait. So yeah, I think these decks are very interesting. The only thing I will say about like 71st Reserve Tank, from what I found playing it in like 10v10, is it doesn't really like have the same staying power as something like Second Guards, which you might as well just be playing instead. Because like Second Guards, you don't have to worry about the Instructor trait. You just get really good tanks, and then you also get the Guard units for your infantry. So you kind of have like the best of both worlds. Yeah, you're maybe paying a bit more of a premium, but in a 10v10, like, it doesn't really matter how much stuff costs. It's more about having like the best units. Still a really cool concept, and you see got the MiG-29 now coming in. This MiG-29, really strong, 40% ECM, R-73 with the off-bore sight capability, high off-bore sight, basically allows it to launch a missile at a better angle, so you can get some crazy, wicked shots with these R-73s. And you've got a really good R-27 there as well. But since I now control this sector, just looking to maybe try and get across the river at some point. I've got my land standing in my way there, as well as the Humvees and such. Big ERC-90 Sage push coming in now. My Age of Gems going to have a bit of a field day here. The Malukas are perfect for this situation because they have just enough damage to be one-shotting all of these, so yeah, they're going to go down pretty quick. And those Sages on the move are not very accurate, so one last hurrah from that player does not go down too well. Okay, more T-55s arriving now on the left-hand side. We've got the Instructors ready for them. We've also got another one of my jammer vehicles in position. Jammers can be very useful in team games, particularly where there's a lot of artillery, because not having corrected shot is often the difference between a unit dying and taking damage. Having jammer is not something to be underestimated, I think. And they're only 15 points. And they come with good optics regardless, so they're just like a nice little recon vehicle. The only thing I kind of wish is that they had a bit better stealth. That would be nice. Mirage flying over all of my AA. These trucks doing extremely well. The T-55s do push forwards, but I end up bumping into so many airmobile. My T-72B just does not stand a chance. I basically split these into two groups, like two T-55s with our T-72B, but the T-72B gets absolutely decimated by the Apalas of these infantry. That's probably all the infantry that was dropped off by all the aircraft or helicopters early on. Anyway, here comes the MiG-29, looking to take down the Eagle. Ends up getting slotted before my units get the chance. Now we've got the Su-24s coming in with those HE bombs. We're going for the Chasseur Powder there, going to be wiping them out nicely. Also ends up taking out the leader in the process. My tanks and stuff going deep on the left-hand side to try and take out the leader there. Only 22 seconds until victory because we are on the +5. And yeah, just a fun game, fun little game that showed off pretty much everything that this division has to offer. Remainder of the legionary is just getting picked off there. Instructors getting right into the backside of that sector. Good little strata there, running around with my tanks as I was searching for the leaders. I'm just about to take out the Humvee there as well. But there it is. 20 minutes, 27 seconds, 4,430 kills, 2,760 losses. It's nice to have some new content in WARNO. It has been a little while. The developers were on a summer break, so I think I don't know if they're finished with that summer break yet, but alas. Yeah, good to see some new content in the game, and I'm really looking forward to the next campaign, like the Tropic Storm campaign or whatever it is. Looks really cool. Taki, really nice KD in that game, 3.1, and Grim Guy as well. Yeah, cool. T-72s, really, really nice. Like these tanks a lot, and I think against like Leopards, the T-72s are going to be super, super good. You're going to struggle, obviously, against like M1A1s and M1A1HAs, but that's where the flanking shots came in, as you saw in the middle of the map there. Otherwise, Malurkas, don't sleep on them. The ZIL 135's pretty fun for taking down some aircraft. All that's also that BTS 4A. I don't think that this is going to be very useful normally, but in this game, you know, we got a chance to show it off, so that was cool. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.